Hey guys, how's it going? Because I've only just made this channel, I thought that it'd be a nice idea to actually talk about my art journey. Simply about how I got into art and how I developed, how my art changed as my interests grew. I thought it'd be a nice way for you to just get to know me a little bit more. I'm actually also doing this without a script. I did start typing one out on my laptop, got to like 200 odd words, and I was just like, nah, this isn't what I want. I want to talk with you about my passion in a natural way, as though you're just right there in front of me and I'm having a conversation with you. So I just scrapped the script, and now I'm just going to be talking, or more like rambling, about my journey with art. So it began when I was 9, which would be about 12 years ago now. I've not been drawing consistently for all those years. I'd say round about 10 to 11 of those years have been spent on art. But 9 was the age I did draw for the first time, like properly, away from scribbles in nursery. Basically, my brother brought home a manga drawing book from his school library. We spent a lot of time together drawing. I was crap, as you would expect from a 9-year-old who has barely ever picked up a pencil. I think a lot of people have this like strange belief that anyone who is even moderately decent at art has this like natural God-given gift that they're able to use to create these masterpieces, which is far from the truth. I'd say I've always had a natural inclination to creativity. I created stories when I was younger before I got into writing properly at a later age. The toys that I played with, I would put them in these like incredible scenarios of like battling kingdoms and forbidden romances and just things like that. It was quite incredible actually. I did have a very vast imagination, I mean. So yeah, I've always been quite creative, but it wasn't until I started drawing with my brother that I truly actually implemented this creativity. So yeah, that basically where I started with a simple manga drawing book, and then once I started drawing with that, I spread my interest to other aspects of art away from manga. I borrowed a lot of drawing books from school. Mostly animals, if I remember rightly, and just general other drawing books like that. I also remember that I keenly looked at the Diamond and Pearl Pokemon guide, and I drew so much from that book. I think I was 10 at that stage because Pokemon Diamond was my first ever Pokemon game. So I drew a lot of Sinnoh Pokemon, and basically I think it was just like just over a year maybe. I was drawing so much. I would draw in school, I would draw at home all the time, and it was a very enjoyable experience. It was just like I just suddenly found this passion thanks to this one single drawing book. So yeah, I kept that up. Once I got to high school, here in the UK you start high school when you're 11, quite young I know, but yes, you start high school at 11, and I'll say in my first year of high school I drew a lot less. I only really drew if like a school project needed it. I think a lot of this was down to the fact that I was actually rather popular until my friends ditched me in year 8, which I don't care about anymore. I'm bloody 21, I don't give a shit. But yeah, back then, I was enjoying time with friends and just getting to live life as a high school student. It was also a huge leap because I went to a tiny little primary school, and then I went to this high school which literally had a good 1,800 pupils. Now, to an American, that might sound normal because I know that like American schools are very big, but the school cannot fit that many students in. It is way too packed, so oversized. The classes are way too big, so I think I just got a bit overwhelmed maybe about my high school experience, and it just kind of made me sit back from drawing a little bit. When I was 12, or 13, no, 12, and I was in year 8, I started doodling again quite a bit more. But I don't think it was until I was in year 9, when I was 13, that I started like drawing again quite regularly. I was actually getting quite popular and quite known for being like rather good at drawing. Like if I look at those drawings now, I will dislike them, and they will be nowhere near the level of what I create now. Back then, I have to admit that possibly for my age they were pretty decent, or at least they were in the eyes of these other students who weren't so good at drawing themselves. So yes, I started drawing a lot of anime again. See, this is one thing that kind of annoys me about my past is that even though I did start taking art more seriously when I was around 15, I didn't really realise that I should be focusing on fundamentals. I could draw pretty decent realism, to be fair, especially for that age, but I just didn't enjoy it, and rather than actually study from life and do the anatomy studies I should, I just kind of drew lots of anime and also animated a lot on Flipnote Studio. And whilst I do believe that the mileage from this period was definitely very useful to me, I definitely think that I could have improved it faster if I had actually thought about what I needed to study and got the fundamentals and the basics down. But it is what it is, and I was just trying to have fun. And well, my art teacher in high school, because I taught GCSE art, of course, was shit really. They didn't really give me much advice. And the thing is about art teachers, and when it comes to their students drawing anime, is that they're not very good at voicing why you should kind of lay off it and do studies and whatnot. They don't explain that to break rules you have to know them. They don't really understand that like their students just want to have fun a lot of the time and enjoy themselves, and they often look up at these amazing like anime artists with this astounding detailed work, not realising that even those kind of masters have got the fundamentals under their belt. But yes, anyway, I've gone off a little bit of a tangent there. So yes, I continued drawing anime and all that for a while. Flipnote Hatina, as other people may know about, got shut down, so I ended up doing full-length animations on YouTube. I'm not going to say the account name because I would rather not connect myself with that account anymore, but yes, I actually put several Flipnotes together to make full-length animations for songs, which, thinking back now, I don't even know how I had that sort of motivation, because sometimes they would take like 40 hours per video, and Jesus, like the longest I've spent on a painting is about 24 hours, and that was enough. Like, I can't even fathom being able to do that sort of work these days. Maybe in the future, but started realising that even if animating itself is enjoyable for me, animating on a tiny little DSi screen wasn't my thing. So I stopped doing that and I started focusing on actual drawing instead. I'm not really sure when my interest has shifted from anime. Strangely enough, I think I started noticing other styles more once I actually got into watching anime, because I've actually forgotten to mention that despite how I got into drawing anime, as is, style basically, I wasn't actually really into anime itself, like watching anime or reading manga. The only thing I'd watched anime-wise is Pokemon. Then when I was about, I don't know, like 16, 17, I think I started watching anime. And I started noticing that the older I got and the more mature I became, the more I started to shift away from wanting to draw manga. I started just marvelling over other art styles, like anything that's kind of unique and not what you see every day. And eventually I noticed that I was mostly impressed by semi-realism kind of paintings. I think I was about 18 at the time when I started noticing this kind of work. I think it has always called out to me in a sense, because I remember looking at like the art of like Final Fantasy, for example, and just being blown away. I've always been absolutely like enthralled in these artworks where it looks real, but you can also see it's not real. I mean, that sounds so simple, but that's how my mind processed it back then. So I decided to start developing a new style. I realised that anime, just wasn't for me. It was fun, but I felt like it was quite restricting. I felt like I couldn't channel my true talent because I noticed that like I'd be drawing like realistic portraits, and I'd be like, whoa, I'm actually really good. But then I'll draw anime, and I was just there like, I, I obviously I'm not trying to diss anime because there's some styles which are beautifully intricate, and sometimes intricate art isn't what you want to do. You want to do something simple, and that's fine. But for me, I missed out on that detail that I knew I could draw, that lifelike, oh, those lifelike people I meet by sticking with this anime and such. So I just wanted to try something new. I remember the very first semi-realistic drawing I created was of Yuri Plusketsky. Did I just say that right? Yeah, from Uni on Ice. I was madly into Uni on Ice. I still love it. I've actually been in a couple of Uni on Ice zines recently. But yeah, that was my very first semi-realism drawing, and I enjoyed it a lot. Especially the hair. People will always compliment me on hair. It has been the one thing that people love how I draw for years now, so I kept at it. But the thing is, when I first started drawing semi-realism, this was about November in 2017, I think. Yeah, November 2017, I believe. But yeah, I didn't have much knowledge about tone back then. If there was one thing that my art teacher in high school did tell me correctly, was that I needed to press down harder, but that's all she said. She didn't actually go into detail about this, but what she meant by that was that I needed to create deeper tone in my work. But obviously, because she was a crappy art teacher, she did not tell me this specifically, so I had no idea. So yes, there's like little 18-year-old me wondering why my work just looks so weird. I was looking at the faces like, what is with this? Turns out that it was the whole tone thing, and also and also the combination of hard and soft edges. I didn't really know about this back then, but in work you really should vary between hard and soft shading techniques if you really want to, create accurate shadows and all that stuff. So I didn't really know about that, and my work looked kind of weird because I wasn't using outlines as I wanted that semi-realistic style, but because I didn't use no outlines and was relying on this lack of tone, it just all looked a bit of a mess, to be honest. So I reverted back to outlines and just did semi-realism hair. It was a bit of a weird combination, but I was loving what I was drawing, so that's how it is. But I remember when I just one day, I'm trying to go back through my memories here. Yes, this was actually November 2017. I think it was not November 2016 I first tried using semi-realism, and then I gave it up. But yes, I decided no, I want to go back to trying out the style I love. So that's what I went back to, and I learned a lot. Like, my improvement was dramatic. I was there like, I'm not going to get better at semi-realism unless I bloody well paint it. There's going to be a few crap pieces on the way, that is how it is, but I will have to get through those pieces to get to what I want to do. Like, I need that mileage, I need that practice, I need the study, so that's what I did. And 6 months later, I could do it. It was quite amazing, really. I couldn't believe that I had managed to change my style so dramatically in that short space of time. But of course, that wasn't the end. I still had to learn so much more. I am still learning now. So I started doing lots more studies. I do still do studies of fundamentals, and I did so back then, of simple anatomy studies and things like that, because I always feel like you should polish up on the basics quite regularly, really. But I'd say for not sure really. I'd say about a year is when I started focusing mainly on trying to improve my style. But I think it was actually after I had my appendix removed in March that I truly ended up knowing what I want to do, because the time I had to take away from art to recover from surgery gave me the opportunity to think over what I was doing. I could think about what was disappointing me in my work. What did I need to improve? Like, I stare and I stared back then and I still stare now at the work of these amazing artists that I admire. And I was just there to myself, like, I need to get to that stage. I know I'm not going to be satisfied until I get to that stage. So since my operation in March, I have been scrutinising every little point on some of these paintings, working out how to do it, watching tutorials. And yeah, that's basically what's led to me today. So yeah, I'm very inspired by video games especially, so I've never even played much Final Fantasy, and yeah, that is one of the things that inspired me the most. And also just fantasy worlds. Even when I was that little kid playing with toys, I loved fantasy. And I realised further down the line, that's what I want to do. I want to create these like whimsical characters, and androgynous characters as well, I will admit. But yes, that's just what I want to do, and it's still what I want to do. And I've been practicing doing that, working out what brushes work for me. I actually finally learned how the hell to use layer settings once I recovered from surgery, because little old me jumped into the world of digital barely knowing a single thing. So yes, I know this has been a huge ramble, so nothing may be actually clear here, except for the fact that I drew anime for a long time. I animated vigorously for a while, and yeah, and I've just done a hell of a lot of drawing, but that's basically what it is. I do thank my brother immensely for opening that door. I believe that even without him borrowing that book from the library, I probably would have ended up drawing anyway, but I'm glad that he did that. It's just, you know, when you have those like certain aspects in your life, certain little events that happen, and you just think to yourself, like, how different would my life be if that one tiny thing didn't happen? Well, I feel like that, for me, is one of those moments. Like, what if he didn't borrow that, and what if I didn't actually end up getting inspired to start art? Like, I say that I might have started drawing regardless, but who knows, really? So I'm grateful to that. I'm also grateful to all my followers over the years, who would constantly tell me, like, wow, you've improved so much, and I know I have, so I can accept those compliments. I can accept them and know they're true, but I still appreciate them so much. I appreciate how long people have stuck by my side to see my growth and my development, and I'm grateful to my family too, because as those who follow me on social media likely will know, I'm actually a very chronically ill person, very chronically ill, amazing adjectives. But yes, my illnesses are rather severe. I cannot get a normal job, and by normal I don't mean like a non-art based job, I mean actually leaving the house and basically non-freelance work. And it gets me down a lot, and that's the thing about art really. I know that if I didn't develop my skills of art, and I didn't have that instead of just sitting at home, just doing nothing basically, I would be a lot more depressed than I am now, and I don't even know if I'd still be here today. It might sound dramatic, but when you're at home and you're this ill and you just don't really have much hope for your future, that's how it feels. And art and writing, and because I have to mention writing here because writing is a huge part of my life too, but yes, art and writing gives me that reason to live basically. It makes me feel less like a burden. It gives me hope that I will achieve my dreams. It gives me a dream in the first place. Like, I know that I'm not like other people. I know that I have to put in more effort to do even the simplest of things that healthy people will just do at the click of their fingers, like brushing their teeth or having a meal. I struggle immensely, and I have done since I was a child, but art for me has been a wonderful journey, one that does get hard at times, and one that has made me cry, and something that I've just wanted to give up, but I'm glad I never did give up. And yeah, that's basically my journey, I guess. There's probably a lot I missed in here, but I've already been talking for 20 bloody minutes. And this is what happens when you don't give me a script. So yes, maybe I will talk more about certain periods of my life in the future, because obviously I've been drawing it for like 10 to 11 years in total. Like, that's a lot of time. I mean, I know I've still got many more years to go, and I know that those years will make me far better than I am now, but it's still a decent period of time, and there's many stories and many aspects of that journey to still tell. So yes, I probably will do that in the future. But for now, I should bloody shut my mouth. Well, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoy listening to this huge ass ramble. Feel free to subscribe for more videos, because I'm kind of enjoying this whole YouTube gig, even though, like, I really don't know what I'm doing. So yeah, subscribe if you like this video, share it if you feel like it. I don't really mind, do what you do. And I will see you next time.